Today, in Part 6 of Vigyan Bhairav Granth, we will discuss in detail about pranava, Om, and the concept of voidness through Plu-Charana. Now, what we're looking at here isn't just some abstract philosophical theory. It is actually a profound technology of consciousness. We are diving into a highly systematic, truly experiential practice detailed in one of the most revered ancient texts of Kashmir Shaivism.
So, here is our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the Shiva-Shakti dialogue, then move to Shloka 39 and the pranava method. After that, we'll decode Plu-Charana, explore Shloka 42 on the stages of sound, look at the multidimensional view, and finally, unpack the essence of the void.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Shiva-Shakti dialogue.
You see, the entire video on Bhairav Granth is framed as this incredibly intimate, esoteric conversation. The goddess Shakti is asking these ultimate, massive questions about reality, and Lord Shiva responds with 112 direct methods to actually experience it. And the specific methodology we're looking at today involves a literal progression of sound. It's an energy that ascends through the body's energetic centers, the chakras, right up the central channel. It's essentially the practice of taking a gross physical sound and using it as a vehicle to just completely elevate the mind into pure, formless consciousness.
That brings us to Section 2, Shloka 39. The pranava method.
If you turn to page 31 of our source material, Shloka 39 introduces the overarching technique. It says, by chanting pranava with Plu-Charana, holding awareness on the void at the end, one attains the state of Parashiva. This one single verse is literally a complete blueprint for the meditative practice. It tells us exactly what to chant, how to chant it, where to place our attention as the sound begins to fade, and what the ultimate result is going to be.
But to really get this, we have to first define pranava. Pranava is the primordial, unconditioned sound. It's what we all commonly know as Om, which is composed of the gross syllables A, U, and M. In the commentary on page 31, the text actually makes a deliberate reference to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, specifically the line, Tasya Vachaka Pranava. This means Om is the primary designator of the Supreme. It is Shabda Brahma, literally the ultimate reality expressed as sound. But here's the catch. Just vocalizing it isn't enough. The real transformative power is all in how precisely you execute it.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, decoding Plu-Charana.
So what is Plu-Charana? Well, it's the uninterrupted, elongated, and extended intonation of a sound. You aren't just holding a long musical note here. You are deliberately and continuously stretching the sound of Om. And as this elongation happens, the sound is carried from a gross physical vocalization, in your throat and mouth, straight into this incredibly subtle internal mental vibration. This continuous stretching basically acts as an anchor. It halts your mental fluctuations and starts dissolving the boundaries of the conditioned mind.
Okay, moving to Section 4, Shloka 42, which covers the stages of sound.
You might be wondering, how exactly does this elongation travel through the body? Well, Shloka 42 gives us the exact mechanics. It reads, through the sequential progression of the gross letters of the Pinda mantra, ascending through Bindu, Ardhachandra, and Nada, one merges into the void. The word Pinda mantra here just refers to the gross embodied syllables of A, U, and M. So this verse is basically a precise, step-by-step instructional manual for refining your awareness.
Let's break down that four-step sequence. First, you have the gross letters. That's the actual physical vocalization of A, U, and M. Second, as you stretch the sound, it transitions into Bindu and Ardhachandra. This is where it loses its physical shape and becomes a subtle vibration. Third, it enters Nada and Nadanta, which is an internal resonance that you feel rather than hear. And finally, stage 4 is Shunya, which is complete and utter dissolution into silence.
Now this is where it gets really fascinating. The text actually maps this progression directly to human physiology. The phonetic stages correspond to very specific physical locations as the energy rises, and you can see this laid out on page 34. The A sound originates at the nabi, the navel. The U sound rises up to the hridaya, the heart. The M sound resonates in the mukha, the mouth. Then, as Plu-Charana makes the sound subtle, the bindu is felt at Bhrumadhya, right between the eyebrows. The Ardhachandra moves to the lalata, your forehead. And finally, the shunya, the void state, is realized at the dwadashanta, which is the spatial center located exactly 12 fingers above the crown of the head. It's a literal, physical, energetic journey from your center to the beyond.
Let's zoom out a bit for Section 5, the multidimensional significance.
To really appreciate the absolute genius of this methodology, we have to look at it through a few different lenses. Spiritually, it's the vehicle for merging the limited individual mind with Parashiva. Religiously, it highlights the supreme reverence for Om as the ultimate cosmic seed. Tantrically, we're looking at a masterful technique for awakening prana and actively raising it through the chakras to the crown. Philosophically, it proves experientially that all form, in this case sound, arises from and eventually returns to formlessness. And on a purely practical level, it's a highly systematic yoga method designed to just completely halt those relentless fluctuations of the human mind.
And that brings us to our final section, the essence of the void.
We need to make a massive, absolutely crucial distinction here. The common, everyday understanding of a void is just empty nothingness, right? Like a depressing absence of everything, what Sanskrit scholars would call abhava. But the Vigyan Bhairav's understanding of the void is the exact opposite. It is emphatically not an absence. It is pure, unconditioned consciousness. It is full of endless potential. It is the ultimate state of Shiva. The text explicitly warns us against viewing this state as some mere empty, nihilistic space.
In fact, the commentary on page 115 hits the nail on the head. It says, "The void is not an absence but the state of supreme Shiva, free from all worldly elements and mental conditioning." So, dissolving the sound of Om into this void at the Dwadashanta means the practitioner hasn't just managed to stop thinking, they have actually successfully merged their very identity with the foundational reality of the universe.
So, this whole practice, elongating the gross Om through Pluto-Charana and following its subtle echo all the way up into the vibrant Shunya, is fundamentally a journey from the outer world to the absolute core of existence. Which leaves us with this final thought. If the sound of the entire universe is born from this silent void, what happens when you finally learn to listen to it? Thank you for exploring this profound explanator with us.